It's time to get some gratitude in your attitude. Come back and we're going to be talking about how to be grateful and content with your life. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Smart Money. I'm Chris Postler, joined by Brad.
Yeah.
How's it going, Brad?
It's going great. It's going great.
Man, that's the right attitude to have.
Yeah, it is.
Especially for today's episode, right? We're going to be talking about how to be more grateful and content in your life. And it's a mindset. It's a way of going through and looking at things from a positive perspective.
Yeah.
Because positivity goes a long way.
It
right,
certainly
Brad?
does. Yeah. I mean, this is one of the absolute best things that you can do for your personal finances. You know, a lot of people say, how can I start controlling my spending? How can I get on a plan with my finances? You can start right here and you will be amazed at how much less money you're spending on stuff you really don't need because you're focusing on everything you already have and what you're blessed with in your life.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of people we come across and we look at them and we say, man, that guy has a great attitude, right?
Yeah.
And it can be infectious.
Yeah.
Now, on the other side, we know a lot of people who walk around every day with, a face, a look on their face that looks like they just have a bad attitude.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
And I got to tell you, most of those people weren't born like that either way.
No.
Right?
No, absolutely.
They're making a daily decision to wake up and do something a little bit different. And it takes practice.
It does take practice.
Right?
I mean, this gratitude stuff is not something that we're born with, right? So we intentionally have to wake up every single day and decide to be grateful and content with everything our life is the way it is right now. You gotta start finding some of those things and focusing on those.
And this all, for a lot of people, like getting in this mindset, it takes perspective.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And perspective is kind of looking at some of the things around you.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So let's talk about opening up your eyes and let's talk about perspective.
Yeah,
Right? Give us
so
something.
let's start looking at how other people live their lives real quick. So I've got a couple statistics I want to share with you. Almost half the world, over 3 billion people, live on less than $2.50 a day. $2.50 a day. We just mentioned this as we started. I was like, that's literally less than a cup of Starbucks coffee right now.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of people going out and doing that multiple times a day just for their coffee, but over half the world lives on less than that, $2.50. I mean, right there, most of us are able to be grateful right there, just that we have more than that to live on every single day.
Well, based on that, a lot of people that I know, they spend a whole week's $2.50 a day at Starbucks in one morning.
Yeah, in one morning, right? Yeah, exactly.
So,
yeah,
it wouldn't go very far.
No, not at all. General, just basic water. 663 million people live without clean water here in the world. 2.4 billion people don't have access to adequate sanitation. And that's 1 out of 3 of the world's population. And over 315,000 children die every single year from diarrheal diseases because of unsafe water. This is about, 900 kids a day. So just looking at the fact that we're able to flip on the faucet in most cases here in this country, and we've got clean running water to drink. I mean, we're just looking at the basics here. And, one thing I mentioned to Chris is that, a real good way to become grateful and content that everything we have here in the United States, or if you're in Canada, is to travel outside of the country. And if you go outside of the country and you go to some of these, countries that maybe aren't nearly as blessed as we are here in the United States, and you get off of those resort properties and you start traveling in those back roads and you start seeing how people live back there, that's some real poverty. And then you start to realize, man, I really don't have it nearly as bad as I think I did. I need to start changing my attitude when it comes to some of this stuff.
And those are serious situations, and
Yeah.
you know we're not trying to have one of those in the arms of the angels moments.
No,
here,
no,
right?
absolutely
but
not.
you need to put this in perspective,
Yeah.
right? And if you're waking up and you're always looking on the bad side of things, you know we all have a lot to be grateful for,
Yeah.
and gratitude goes a really long way. Now, some of the things that people will say to you when they hear you talking about grateful and being content. What are those things?
Yeah, and some people might be saying right now, you know, they're saying, "Hey, Brad, you're on smart money. It looks like you're doing successful. You got all your debt paid off. You know, of course it's easy for you to be grateful. I mean, you're doing what you want to do. You're passionate about what you. It's easy for you to say to be grateful. You know, me, my life's not so good right now. I am not really grateful for anything that I have in my life, and I want to assure all of you out there, I used to be there too, all right? I've been through some of those hard times where I was scared that I wasn't gonna have enough money to get through the end of the month. And in some cases, I didn't have enough money to get through the end of the month. And it was during those times, though, that I learned that being grateful was what was going to pull me out of those moments. So instead of focusing on the situation, as bad as that situation is and was for me, I focused in on what do I really want my life to look like? Why do I need to just stomach through all this, have a good attitude, as best attitude as I can, work hard at getting out of this because I want to have this over here. And I was grateful every day for at least the vision I started to create for what I wanted my life to look like. And then once I got out of that, I worked really hard at creating the life that I'm now living. Yeah. And now, you know, yeah, you're right. Is it easier to be grateful in the moments where you're successful and when things are going well? Absolutely. But honestly, it's not that hard to do it when times are tough too.
Mm-hmm. And I think, Brad, part of this is society's obsession with social media, right?
Yeah, right.
And
yeah.
I saw a quote up there, I think it was on Cheryl Force's Facebook page, and she had a quote up there that said, "Don't compare yourself to someone else's highlight reel."
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And that's what's happening on Facebook and all these media outlets is these people are putting up their highlight reel. Now, there's a small percentage of people that are having their cathartic moment and the sky's falling, but the rest of the people are having their daily highlight reel.
Yeah,
right? And, you know, a lot of us are looking at that highlight reel and comparing it to our day-to-day life and saying, well, they have more than us. You know, why don't I have this? All the good things happen to them and nothing happens to me, right?
Yeah.
Well, you know, I think in your mind, you've got to develop your own highlight reel.
Yep, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
You agree with that?
Absolutely, yeah. Start looking at all of the good things that you have in your life. You know, all of them. You know, and you mentioned, I thought this was pretty funny. You know, we talked about sports, the Detroit Lions, you know, and you had mentioned the year that they went 0-16. Sorry, I'm a Green Bay Packer fan, so any Detroit Lions fans, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But keep in mind, you know, they still had some decent moments in that 0-16 season, right? And you said you could create a highlight reel out of that. So same thing with you. If you're having kind of a 0-16 season type of a moment in your life right now, there are still some things that you can look at and be grateful for. How about the fact that you woke up and you're alive and you're breathing and you're able to actually make a difference today in your situation? That's a start right there.
Absolutely. So let's talk about some of these other benefits to being grateful and content.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. And when I started studying for this, obviously I know the benefits just from doing it myself, but I started studying this, preparing for this segment. I was like, holy smokes. I mean, there's study after study that proves that how much this can benefit your life. Yeah. So I'm going to just go list through some of them. It makes us happier. Shocking, right? But it makes more people like us, which is awesome from a business standpoint and from a consultant's business standpoint. That positive attitude, that, you know, gratefulness. And, you know, my wife does this a lot on social media. She doesn't, you know, typically complain a lot. She's always very upbeat, and she has people actually private message her sometimes and say, your posts sometimes is what gets me through the day. And it's, you know, just having, you know, and then those people become potential customers because they're seeing that positive energy. People want to be around people that they like. Not only do they want to be around them, they want to buy products and do business with people that they like as well. They don't want to do business with people that have bad attitudes. Yeah. That's not fun, right?
I mean, they feel that energy and they want to be part of that energy, right?
Yeah.
And that's how you're going to attract people to your business is by putting off that energy,
yeah.
right? So what's the next one?
So other things, it improves your relationships and your marriage. So not only is it going to help you and your marriage, but it improves your relationships, including your children and how you parent them, right? So stress gets relieved, right? So you start to become a better parent. It's going to make you a much better networker, right? So because you're happier, people want to be around you. It's going to be easier for you to meet new people. Not only that, but more people are going to want to say, hey, have you met so-and-so? Because you're awesome, right?
Yeah.
People want to be around you. So you're only going to create much more of an influence of people around you.
Or as my son would call it, mean mommy and mean daddy.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, he knows when you're in that mood. Like,
Yeah.
if you're not carrying that energy around, then that energy kind of is translated into them.
Yes,
you know, and
absolutely.
and the whole family grows.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. Yep, absolutely. One, obviously, when it comes to your finances, we talked about this, but it reduces materialism and always having that feeling of needing more. You know, the stuff I just bought yesterday at the mall or the store or the hardware store, whatever it might be that you're buying, you know, it may have, you know, satisfied that immediate want, but now all of a sudden you're on to the next thing. Yeah. What else do I need? And being grateful and taking time to recognize those things in your life is going to help you remove that. You're going to be focused on what you have, again, not on what you don't have. And it's going to also reduce the feelings of envy. So like Chris said, you know, don't focus so much on the highlight reels that you see out there. Focus more on what you have and not what everybody else has. And I want what everybody else has, all right? Because what you have, somebody else wants that. So you need to be grateful for what you have. I mean, you really do. Focus on what you've got. It also helps us improve our sleep. It increases our energy levels, helps maintain our health, and it helps you bounce back after negative life events. And this is one thing I told you, you know, the way that Sarah and I have basically turned around our financial lives. You know, when we have negative things that happen, you know, Sarah just recently had emergency gallbladder surgery, in the hospital for 2 days, wasn't planned for, wasn't prepared for, you know, parties canceled, a very good one, by the way, which we were disappointed about. But at the end of the day, it was just a blip on our radar, financially speaking and emotionally, all right? Because we just practice this attitude of being grateful for everything that we have in our life, and it makes those moments, those storms that come in, a lot easier to deal with. Right. They're not fun, but they're easier to deal with.
Yeah, and Brad, I agree. And unfortunately, you know, in our society, another thing that we see a lot is chronic depression and anxiety. This is a real serious problem right now.
Yeah.
And, you know, being able to be in that mindset that when some of these negative life events happen, they're not going to pull you under.
Right.
Right?
Right.
You're going to look at the positive side or the silver lining. You're going to keep moving. And that's a mindset that's developed over time.
Yeah.
So that you're prepared for those things.
Yep.
And you don't have to find yourself in this depressed state or this overly anxious state. You don't have to find yourself maybe seeking out therapy or medication for that, because guess what? That stuff is also very expensive as well.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So what are some of the things that we can do?
Yeah, one thing that I'll recommend, and this is something that you'll find all over social media, I mean, internet websites, I mean, all over, what are some ways to start being grateful? And one of the best recommendations that I've seen and that I started doing was I actually have a gratitude journal. And this is something very easy that you can do. And I know it might sound silly, but literally it takes about 5 to 10 minutes every day. Now, if you want to take longer, by all means, go ahead and do that. You can spend some extra additional time on this. But all you have to do is take 5 to 10 extra minutes every day and just focus in on what you have, what you're grateful for, what you're blessed with, and all of the good stuff that's going on in your life. And you will be amazed. Now, not day one, all right? So don't do it day one and you're like, Brad told me I would feel something, I don't feel anything, I'm gonna quit. No. You gotta do this for a while. Yeah. Get the habit going, all right? It takes a good 21 days to 30 days to really get a habit down. So give it a month, all right? And I think you're gonna be amazed at the different things you're going to experience. Darren Hardy talks about this in his book, The Compound Effect, and he said, I had a friend that would always complain about his wife. He would always complain about her, and he's like, do me a favor, stop complaining about her, and instead of complaining about her, I want you to start every day writing the good stuff about your wife. And he's like, my friend came back a couple weeks later and he's like, I can't believe it. Everything has changed. My wife is just amazing now and everything has gone away. And his wife didn't change at all. It's his attitude that changed about his wife, because he started recognizing all the good stuff that she was doing, not necessarily focusing on all the bad stuff. And this is exactly the same thing you're going to do in your own life, and you're going to see those amazing changes.
Yeah, and being grateful allows you to visualize a great outcome. Right?
Yeah.
You're not going into an event or a meeting and saying, what are all the bad things that are going to happen? How am I going to overcome this? You're saying, how am I going to deal with this in the moment?
Yeah.
Visualize you overcome it.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Being emotionally prepared Right, is a big part of it, yeah.
Well, I just want to thank you for being here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me tell you something. I'm grateful for you.
And I'm grateful for you.
Right? And I'm grateful for this opportunity to come out here and put on these Smart Money shows. And I hope that you ladies got a little bit out of today. We're always grateful to be on the show.
Yeah,
and to be
absolutely.
bringing you new material.
Yeah.
Keep up with that grateful attitude, right? Stay positive and good things are going to come your way. So thank you for joining us today.
So I want you to get absolutely jacked up for your life. You got to get jacked up for your dreams. You got to take all that anger, all that stress, all that fear that you have when it comes to your debt, and you got to pack it into every single punch that you can throw at this thing, and you got to give it everything that you have got, because it is time to give your debt the biggest ass kicking that it has ever received.
Hello, ladies. We're here again with Brad Nelson from Balanced Sense. We wanted to come and talk to you a little bit about his class called Roots. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your class, Brad?
Absolutely. Roots of Personal Finance is really the best personal finance course that any pure romance consultant can really take. This is an 8-week program that's really going to walk you through every step of turning your finances around. We're going to cover topics like behavior, budgeting, how to save, how to eliminate your debt. That's really going to help you turn around your personal finances. And along with the online course, we are going to do weekly live meetups where you're going to get an opportunity to speak with me personally and also meet with other pure romance consultants across the United States. Not only that, but if you're not comfortable participating in live meetups, you can have an opportunity to do one-on-one coaching with me to talk about your situation personally. We have a Facebook group page where we have a ton of activity happening day in and day out, not only helping in your personal finances, but also helping your pure romance business. And that really leads me to one of really the class favorites, is how to make money with your pure romance business. So we're going to show you how to ensure that you're making money with your business by understanding how to budget, understanding how to maybe set up an emergency fund for your business, how to set goals to make sure that you are making money with your business.
And I can vouch for this, ladies. I've seen some of the reviews from people who have been in the last class, and they're amazing, right? People setting up their first emergency fund, people getting out of debt already, people taking control of their finances. And we've enlisted Brad's help to create this class. I helped you create part of the Pure Romance class, so we're really excited about it. Look forward to it coming out. Look at the website, check it out, take control of your own finances. Thank you.